Somewhere beneath the earth, hidden in forgotten chambers, or resting on ocean floors, lie treasures worth billions of dollars. Gold that once adorned pharaohs, jewels that crowned emperors, and artifacts that could rewrite history itself. These aren't fairy tales, these are real treasures that vanished into the mists of time, and despite centuries of searching, they remain tantalizingly out of reach. Today, we're counting down the top 10 most incredible treasures still lost to this day, worth more than most countries' GDP combined. 10. The Treasure of Lima, estimated value, $200 million. In 1820, as Simon Bolivar's revolutionary forces closed in on Lima, Peru, the Spanish colonial government faced a desperate choice. The city's churches and government buildings held an enormous fortune. Gold and silver artifacts, precious stones, and religious relics accumulated over 3 centuries of colonial rule. Rather than let it fall into rebel hands, they entrusted it all to Captain William Thompson and his ship, the Mary Dear. Thompson was supposed to transport this treasure 300 tons of gold and silver, including a life-sized solid gold statue of the Virgin Mary, to safety in Mexico. Instead, greed overcame honor. Thompson and his crew murdered the Spanish guards and turned pirate. The treasure was allegedly buried somewhere on Cocos Island, off the coast of Costa Rica. When Thompson was eventually captured, he claimed he would reveal the location only to save his life. He led one expedition to the island, but escaped into the jungle, never to be seen again. Despite over 300 documented treasure hunting expeditions to Cocos Island, the Lima treasure remains hidden. 9. The Menorah from the Second Temple, estimated value, priceless. When Roman legions under Titus destroyed Jerusalem's Second Temple in 70 AD, they carried off one of Judaism's most sacred artifacts, the Golden Menorah. This wasn't just any ceremonial object, it was a 7-branched candelabrum made of pure gold, standing nearly 6 feet tall, and according to tradition, designed by God himself and crafted by Moses. The Arch of Titus in Rome still depicts Roman soldiers carrying this very menorah in their victory procession. Historical records show it was displayed in Rome's Temple of Peace for centuries. But when the Vandals sacked Rome in 455 AD, the trail goes cold. Some scholars believe it was taken to Constantinople, others suggest it lies hidden in the Vatican's secret archives, and some theories place it in a cave beneath Jerusalem itself. The menorah represents more than gold, it's a symbol of Jewish identity and continuity. Its recovery would be one of the most significant archaeological finds in human history. 8. The Treasure of the Knights Templar, estimated value, $1 billion plus. Friday, October 13, 1307, a date that would live in infamy. King Philip IV of France, drowning in debt from his wars, orchestrated the simultaneous arrest of Knights Templar across his kingdom. But when his soldiers stormed the Templar fortress in Paris, they found something shocking. The treasury was nearly empty. For 2 centuries, the Knights Templar had accumulated wealth beyond imagination. They were medieval Europe's bankers, with a network spanning from Scotland to the Holy Land. Their treasure included not just gold and silver, but also religious relics they claimed to have recovered from Solomon's Temple, including possibly the Holy Grail and pieces of the True Cross. The night before the arrests, witnesses reported seeing wagons leaving Templar commanderies under cover of darkness. Ships departed from the Atlantic port of La Rochelle, but where did this enormous wealth go? Some believe it reached Scotland, others point to Nova Scotia's Oak Island, and some suggest it was hidden in Portugal. The mystery has inspired countless expeditions and legends, but the Templar treasure remains one of history's greatest vanishing acts. 7. Blackbeard's treasure, estimated value, $12.5 million. Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, was perhaps history's most notorious pirate. In just 2 years of terror along the American coast, from 1716 to 1718, he captured over 40 ships and amassed a fortune that would be worth millions today. His flagship, Queen Anne's Revenge, struck fear into merchant sailors from the Caribbean to the Carolinas. When Blackbeard was finally killed in battle off North Carolina's Outer Banks in November 1718, only a small portion of his treasure was recovered. Before his final battle, he had boasted that he alone knew where his greatest treasure was buried, and that only Satan and myself know the location. His crew members, when captured and tortured, revealed that Blackbeard had indeed buried treasure, but their accounts were contradictory. Some pointed to islands off North Carolina, others to remote beaches in Virginia. Metal detector enthusiasts still comb the beaches of the Outer Banks, And marine archaeologists continue to excavate the wreck of Queen Anne's Revenge, but Blackbeard's main treasure hoard remains hidden beneath centuries of shifting sand. 6. The Amber Room estimated value, $500 million. Called the eighth wonder of the world, the Amber Room was a chamber decorated in amber panels, backed with gold leaf and mirrors. Created for the Prussian King Frederick I, it was later gifted to Russian Tsar Peter the Great, cementing a diplomatic alliance between Prussia and Russia. For over 200 years, the Amber Room graced the Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg, dazzling visitors with its warm, honey-colored glow. The room covered more than 590 square feet and contained over 6 tons of amber, decorated with precious stones and intricate carvings. When Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union in 1941, German forces quickly captured the Catherine Palace. They carefully dismantled the Amber Room and shipped it to Königsberg Castle in East Prussia, now Kaliningrad, Russia. But as Soviet forces approached in 1945, the trail goes cold. Some witnesses claimed it was destroyed in Allied bombing, others insisted it was evacuated deeper into Germany. Treasure hunters have searched everywhere from hidden bunkers in the Bavarian Alps to abandoned mines in Eastern Europe. In 2003, Russia completed a painstaking recreation of the room, but the original Amber Room worth $500 million remains lost to time. 5. The Lost Dutchman's Mine estimated value, $200 million plus. In the treacherous Superstition Mountains of Arizona lies what may be America's most famous lost treasure, a gold mine so rich it could fund a small nation. The legend centers on Jacob Waltz, a German immigrant mistakenly called Dutch who allegedly discovered an incredibly rich gold vein in the 1870s. Waltz was secretive about his mine's location, making mysterious trips into the superstitions and returning with high-grade gold ore. He supposedly killed anyone who tried to follow him. On his deathbed in 1891, he gave cryptic clues to his caretaker, Julia Thomas, describing landmarks and directions that have puzzled treasure hunters for over a century. The Superstition Mountains have claimed numerous lives. At least 60 people have died searching for the mine, leading Apache locals to call them cursed. The area is now largely protected wilderness, but this hasn't stopped thousands of modern prospectors armed with metal detectors and geological surveys. What makes this treasure particularly tantalizing is that Waltz's gold was real. Assayers confirmed its unusual composition, which doesn't match any known mines in the region. Somewhere in those jagged peaks lies a fortune in gold, protected by one of the desert's most unforgiving landscapes. 4. The Florentine Diamond estimated value, $750 million. The Florentine diamond, a pale yellow stone weighing 137 carats, was once the crown jewel of European royalty. This extraordinary gem, cut in a unique double rose pattern with 126 facets, passed through the hands of some of history's most powerful rulers. The diamond's documented history begins with the Medici family of Florence, hence its name. It later became part of the Austrian crown jewels when Anna Maria Luisa de' Medici, the last of her line, left it to the Habsburg dynasty. For centuries, it adorned the crowns and regalia of Austrian emperors, including Franz Joseph I when the Austro-Hungarian Empire collapsed after World War I. Emperor Karl I fled to Switzerland, taking the crown jewels with him. The Florentine diamond was among them. In the chaos following the war, Karl entrusted the diamond to Swiss bankers for safekeeping. But when the Austrian government later tried to reclaim their crown jewels, the Florentine was missing. Some believe it was recut and sold by the bankrupt royal family. Others suggest it was stolen by dealers who recognized its immense value. There have been unconfirmed sightings in private collections and auction houses, but the Florentine diamond, one of the largest and most historically significant gems ever lost, has never been definitively located. 3. The Ark of the Covenant estimated value, beyond measure. According to biblical accounts, the Ark of the Covenant was the most sacred object of ancient Israel. A golden chest containing the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments that God gave to Moses. The Bible describes it in extraordinary detail. Made of acacia wood, overlaid with pure gold, and topped with 2 golden cherubim with outstretched wings. The Ark resided in Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem for nearly 400 years, from around 950 to 586 BC, but when Babylonian forces under Nebuchadnezzar II destroyed the temple, the Ark vanished from history. Unlike other temple treasures, which are mentioned in Babylonian records as being carried off, the Ark is conspicuously absent from any inventory. This has led to numerous theories about its fate. Some believe it was hidden in caves beneath Jerusalem before the Babylonian siege. Ethiopian Christians claim it rests in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum, guarded by a single monk, who is the only person allowed to see it. Others point to possible locations ranging from Ireland to Zimbabwe. The Ark's value transcends gold and precious stones. It represents the physical connection between humanity and the divine in three major world religions. Its discovery would be the archaeological find of the millennium. 2. Montezuma's Treasure. Estimated value: $3 billion. When Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés and his men entered the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan in 1519, they found wealth beyond their wildest dreams. The palace of Emperor Montezuma II contained rooms filled with gold artifacts, precious stones, and intricate metalwork representing centuries of Aztec craftsmanship and tribute from across their empire. But this fairy tale turned into a nightmare during La Noche Triste, the Night of Sorrows, on June 30, 1520. Driven from the city by an Aztec uprising, the Spanish attempted to escape with as much treasure as they could carry. Many soldiers, weighed down by gold, drowned in Lake Texcoco surrounding the city. Witnesses reported that most of the treasure was dumped into the lake during the chaotic retreat. What makes this treasure particularly incredible is its cultural value. Beyond the raw worth of the gold, Montezuma's treasure included artifacts that represented the pinnacle of Aztec art and civilization, much of which was melted down or lost forever. Recent underwater archaeology in what remains of Lake Texcoco has yielded some artifacts, but the bulk of Montezuma's treasure lies buried beneath Mexico City, built directly over the ruins of Tenochtitlan. The treasure represents not just billions in gold, but irreplaceable pieces of human heritage that could completely reshape our understanding of Aztec civilization. 1. The tomb of Alexander the Great. Estimated value: incalculable. At just 32 years old, Alexander the Great had conquered most of the known world, stretching from Greece to India. When he died in Babylon in 323 BC, his body became the center of a power struggle among his generals. According to historical accounts, Alexander was entombed in a golden sarcophagus, surrounded by treasures from across his vast empire, and initially buried in Memphis, Egypt. Ptolemy I, one of Alexander's generals who founded the Ptolemaic dynasty in Egypt, later moved the tomb to Alexandria, the great city named after the conqueror. For over 600 years, the tomb was one of the most visited sites in the ancient world. Julius Caesar, Cleopatra, Augustus, and Caligula all made pilgrimages to see the golden sarcophagus of history's greatest military genius. But sometime around the 4th century AD, all references to the tomb disappear. Some believe it was destroyed during Christian riots against pagan monuments. Others think it was secretly moved to protect it from grave robbers. The rise of Islam in Egypt led to further confusion, as the new rulers had little interest in preserving pagan burial sites. The tomb's discovery would be archaeology's holy grail. Beyond the immeasurable wealth buried with Alexander, the tomb could contain scrolls from the Library of Alexandria, artifacts from across the ancient world, and insights into one of history's most influential figures. Modern technology, including ground-penetrating radar and satellite imaging, has identified numerous potential sites in and around Alexandria, but Alexander's final resting place remains history's greatest archaeological mystery. These 10 lost treasures represent more than just gold and jewels. They're windows into lost civilizations, symbols of human achievement, and mysteries that continue to captivate our imagination. From Blackbeard's buried chests to Alexander's golden tomb, each treasure tells a story of ambition, power, and the relentless passage of time. What makes these treasures truly incredible isn't just their monetary value, estimated in the billions, but their potential to rewrite history. The discovery of any one of them would make headlines around the world and provide insights into the past that no amount of money could buy. The search continues. With advancing technology from deep-sea submersibles to satellite archaeology, we're closer than ever to solving these ancient mysteries. Somewhere out there, beneath the waves, under the desert sand, or hidden in forgotten vaults, these treasures wait for the right combination of luck, persistence, and modern science to bring them back into the light.